I'm having blackberry plus spirulina smoothie, and that's my salad for today. That's James's burger, and he's having green juice and blackberry smoothie. And the green juice is 2 packages of these microgreens, and I had 1 package. So there's the nutritional information for 85 grams, and it's a 170 gram package. And we had 1 package of these between us for the smoothies. And we're going to talk about scent health. And looks like James has some stuff he might review. It probably will, so we don't have a whole lot to talk about. This is my outfit for today. It's one that I've hiked in before, but I wouldn't want to hike in today. My back is not feeling good, but I thought, well, I can dress up for dinner a little bit. So, and this is dressing up for me, because if you've watched me in the past, I've been known to come out in my house coat, but since I've started this diet, I'm not. So, making sure I actually get dressed for dinner. And I think it helps. So, now, I moved that in, just mostly to get it out of the sun, really. Because it's very bright over there, but it's quite shady, nice right here. So, let's see. I think everyone likes Rachel McAdams. We do. And so when I saw her on the cover, I thought, yeah, this should be good. It's produced by Sam Raimi, which, if I remember, and directed by him. And if I remember correctly, that's who came up with Buffy the Vampire Slayer series and a bunch of other things.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but I'd have to look into it. So anyway, we liked this movie. We thought it had a good, powerful message for, well, everyone, really. But
that's true.
yeah, because really, she, at one point, Rachel McAdams' character, says to the man who he was her boss. He was born into it. He didn't earn it, and he doesn't realize her value. And she's one of those people that works away, works like she was, when he first met her in the workplace, he had met her at a Christmas party before, but in the workplace, she had been eating her sandwich at her desk, and she had a piece of tuna salad on her face while she was talking to him. And he gave her a cowardly sort of, he said that people had complained about it, but it's unlikely that they did. It was just him.
Yeah.
But James said right away, well, she's working through her lunch breaks. That's why she's eating there, is she doesn't take lunch breaks. She's a really hard worker. There's a lot of people like that they don't want to take coffee breaks. They don't want to take lunch breaks. They just want to keep going. And really, I identified with Rachel McAdams a lot, but with her character that she was playing. But she also reminded me of my mother and my sister, hardworking people. But at one point, she said, she was talking about getting work done, and she's like, pile it on, I can take it, kind of thing, right? And I remember I said that to a boss once. Once I actually had a boss who recognized my value. And
that's just one.
Thank you, Jim. Yeah. So he said to me once, you get more work done than is humanly possible. And I said, pile it on, I can take it. And so, but there's a lot of people out there, like my mother or my sister, people would be piling it on them. They would be getting it done and not recognized at all and never saying a thing. You know, they just go through life, just keep doing that. And so I don't think that, see, I'm not like a lot of passive people. I'll actually speak my mind about things. Okay, occasionally. But a lot of won't. Many won't. They will just keep working away, keep getting abused, and I don't know really what people can do for them. I don't know what they can do for themselves. They're really stuck. And I feel bad for them. But for me, I'm not the kind of person to get stuck. I just leave. And at one point, you know, when Rachel McAdams' character, when she walks into the office of her boss, when she walks into her boss's office, James would be like, just line up another job and get out of there, you know? And that's what most people would do, I think, unless they were really passive, then they would just keep doing it. They would just keep putting up with the work and not getting recognized, and for working as hard as they do, not getting appreciated. But anyway, at one point in the show, she tells the person who was her boss, who had been her boss in before this point, when he is certainly not, she tells him, help is not coming, you have to take care of yourself, kind of thing, right? And then at the end of the movie, she looks right at the camera and she says the same thing, and it's powerful, right? Because she's saying it to you got to save yourself, kind of thing. So there are some problems with this movie.
Maybe we should do a spoiler alert so we can talk about it in more detail.
Okay.
So before we say that, comes highly recommended by me.
Very much. I think this is a must-see for any adult. I mean, there's some violent scenes, whatever, that you wouldn't want children watching. I don't know what the rating is. 13 plus violence, that's what it says. So there you go. And there is some violence.
So it doesn't matter what your personality type is?
No.
If you're aggressive, it'll
go
whiz
right
by
past
your ears.
Yeah, you won't even acknowledge
because you guys
it.
are useless.
Yeah. But if you're a passive, I hope the message comes through. Because you shouldn't be putting up with it.
So that's aggressive propagandists and aggressive ruler types.
Because the aggressive personality types, they truly are useless. Mm-hmm. They are
oftentimes
absolutely,
they're worse than useless.
Yeah, they're absolutely unable to do anything for themselves, to care for themselves, to put themselves into the powerful positions that they get into.
So that makes them worse than useless because you have to babysit them.
Yeah, it's passive people that allow them to be there, and if you don't, they wouldn't be there. They'd be nothing. They wouldn't be able to care for themselves. They would die off. They're useless. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this before we do the spoiler alerts.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it a little
in
more freely.
detail. Yeah, exactly.
So at one point, I noticed some flaws, and really, I guess this is Sam Raimi's fault. I mean, he's directing it, so you got to pay attention to detail, because if you want to get the message across to the kind of passive people that are being used and abused and propping up a system of aggressive people that dominate everyone,
Parasites.
then you have to pay attention to detail, and you haven't. There are some points when she walks into the house, when she gets into the house and there's fresh fruit on the table. Why?
Yeah,
There
it does
wouldn't
make
be.
sense. Yeah.
The caretakers would have been, they wouldn't have the job as caretaker if they left fresh food there. They would have put it in the garbage. She would have taken it out of the garbage if she wanted it, but she was getting fruit for herself off the island. So
Mangoes.
why would
Why
she
would
be
you
so
miss-
excited about the dragon fruit and stuff like whatever? It should have been something else, some other luxury thing. And it could have been something that, James and I were thinking, well, maybe macadamia nuts. Maybe they don't grow there, or maybe whatever. But it could be something that is absolutely that people wouldn't think of as a luxury item unless you're in her situation. So it could
she's
be
in a
something
survivor
like
situation.
soap, or just something, anything really that she hasn't seen in a long time, and something that she would like to see. So, but it can't be the fruit on the table. That did not work.
No.
That wouldn't be there. So, what else do you have to say about this? I should let you talk, then I can eat.
I'm enjoying eating. I enjoy it a whole lot more than talking, because what this is really about is aggressive ruler types.
Yeah.
And it's not enjoyable talking about them. I don't like visiting this stuff to you folks out there, because the aggressive ruler types have already turned off their witless little minds, so they're not receptive if they haven't just switched to something else. And these guys are harder on you, because most of you are women. The passive, supportive people. There are some men like them.
Another thing, he should have been taller than average.
Yeah, he's kind of but they're trying to
doesn't
emphasize how wimp he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it should be a tall guy like Will Ferrell, because those are the people that tend to
But not Will Ferrell,
rise to.
because he's not an aggressive ruler, and nobody would dislike him.
He plays ineffectual tall guys. I'm just saying, like his
Okay.
height, but
Height, yeah.
not what kind of roles he plays. Even when he's playing ineffectual types, as I recall, you always kind of end up feeling for him. You know? Some tall guys can't help it. I never really gravitated towards worshipping tall guys when I was playing sports. So often they were so clumsy. And the sad thing is, I think tall guys, when it comes to effective IQ, are below average, because they just get by on their height, like people just nod their heads when they express their opinion. I can recall looking around at a foreman's meeting with the city of Lethbridge. I was there replacing my foreman, who actually he was taller than average, soon to be so. And he actually belonged in the foreman's meeting, being a foreman. He was overqualified to be a foreman. I was average height. The little weasel that used and abused Pauline wasn't there for some reason or another. And was he on holiday? He was on holiday all the time. He's earning full pay for retirement. The big trouble is he drew great entertainment out of abusing people, and it was stunning how inefficient he was. He was absolute lump on the system, worse than a lump. It was like a cancerous lump. Anyway, I looked around. Everyone of them was like 6'2", 6'3". The average height for a guy then, it used to be 5'8", not 5'9". Maybe it's a little bit higher now. But this was something like that. 6'2", 6'3". Just towering, galumphing guys. And almost all of them are useless or worse than useless. The kind of guy, person that does well in a group situation remind me of the women I've generally played soccer with in co-ed soccer. Do the thankless task, play defense, celebrate when everyone, when someone, see, I say everyone scores a goal because that's what it is. But when the team scores a goal, they don't necessarily want to play forward, get a lot of goals. They will actually pass. You know, it's amazing. You'll be playing soccer with people. One guy, he was our winger. He refused to pass to our center, who was the best scorer in all of Lethbridge. He wasn't playing at the major league level, but he was the best forward. But our little winger refused to pass to him because he felt competitive with him. Well, if you want to be competitive with someone, you get on another team.
Yeah.
And see if you can show him up. I say this, I didn't like the center forward. He was arrogant, and not pretentiously arrogant. He was just arrogant because he was good at his job. And the little guy that was my friend, he was pretentious. He had all sorts of skills, way more skills than this guy. This guy who was the center forward was kind of a little bit clumsy and whatnot. But he was, the little guy that I was friends with was pretentious because he wasn't able to bring his skills to bear. And why wasn't he able to? His personality. He I don't think he'd passed anyone. He was small and very quick. So he was a winger, and he beat the fullback that was assigned to cover him. And then he'd want to dribble the ball to the net. Well, that's not really a winger's job. You'll only dribble to the net to draw the goaltender over, and then you pass it in the middle. Draw other defenders to you and pass into the middle. That's the only reason. And that's what a good winger does. As soon as they beat someone, they're out on the wing here. When they beat someone, their fullback, they'll cut towards the goal to get commitment. But this winger, he'd try to run down the sideline, and then these larger, slower types, generally they were reasonably fast, and they'd catch up with him. Why? He was dribbling. When you dribble a ball, you can't go as fast as someone who isn't. So what they'd do is this guy is my friend. He's like 4'11" in platform. And they just run him off the ball, and basically legally, they just put the shoulder in on him, and he'd be going frustrated. Well, that was a legal tackle, as they call it. They call it a tackle. You're not tackling like in football. It's just running a person off the ball. Well, sometimes they'd get this involved, but you're supposed to do it shoulder to shoulder with your arm in next to you. You can't have it out here. I guess it's not like hockey. It's not like checking in hockey. So the guy wasn't a good team player. Most of the women I played with, there was one I played with against it was just pickup soccer out of the university. She really thought she was an aggressive ruler type. To myself, I called her Dumpy Butt because she had a big butt. And if you're playing soccer properly, you end up not having a big butt. You're working it off. Yeah? Now she had a hard kick and that sort of stuff, but you're not doing the job if you've got she might have done well in women's soccer, but if I'd been her coach and had been a coach, if I were coaching, I just require the players to who are on my team 1 year to decide by secret ballot whether I was going to be visited on the next year's team. Some of them might be on next year's team and stuff like that. Because I believe in democracy. But if I were just assigning players and stuff like that, I would have her on the sidelines until she worked her dumpy butt off. But she was an aggressive ruler type. But almost every woman I played soccer with in co-ed soccer had been a team player.
That was a problem that James and I had with this movie.
Yeah.
Is they put it men against women.
Yeah.
Really, there should have been some short men that she worked with that were balding or whatever.
Or even tall men. The occasional. Some tall men are really laid back.
Yeah.
Shy and retiring.
So that we're also getting abused, right? They're in the position where they're getting used and abused. But and there should have been some aggressive women on the.
I don't think there was one.
In with the guys, that were the manager type guys.
To that extent, it basically is sexist.
Yeah.
That part of the movie. Stop making it about identity. Stop doing the identity thing. Start dealing with things that people have a choice about. They have a choice about what their personality is like. Believe it or not, people make a decision to be aggressive ruler types. They make it early in their lives or whatever.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, they make a decision to keep on maintaining it.
And there were parts that I didn't believe with how the man was acting. Like when he tried to poison her.
Yeah, that was...
I said, no, he definitely wanted to kill her. He can't have any witnesses to the fact that he was helpless. So
worse than ineffectual, actually.
Yeah. He would rather die alone on the island or die on the raft alone than have to then live in a way that other people realize that he was depending on this woman, right? So, and also when she said, "Oh, the poisonous vine part of the island, don't go there," or whatever, don't go that way. He would have went. That wouldn't have kept him away. There's no way it would have kept him away.
Anyway, that's about all I had to say about it. It's a lot more than we do for most movies because this thing has got some valuable sort of things. One of the things I liked about it is it started out like a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to hook up. And there was a point in the movie where it was about an hour in where I switched off.
Yeah.
Oh man,
exactly.
Oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
I started petting the dogs.
I wouldn't. I like at one point near the end too. The man is lying and he tells her that he loves her or whatever, and she replies, gives him the same reply back.
Yeah. And I'm going, it's going to be romantic.
Yeah, it wasn't. We didn't want that. He's not going to change. People like him don't change.
People like him. People do change. They're capable of change. But it takes a lot, folks. It really takes a lot.
Yeah. So there were a lot of points when, he would be lying and say that. But for her to say that back to him, that seemed weak. I didn't like that.
No. Continue.
Well, I guess I don't have to.
I wanted to talk about people change.
Okay.
A classic, not the classic example, is Stan Mikita. 5 minutes?
Yeah, you're good. 4.5.
He was a very effective hockey player. They called him Le Petit Diable, the Little Devil in Montreal. Stan Mikita played for Chicago Blackhawks. And he was constantly in the penalty box. He was basically the most talented player of his time, in between Bobby Hull when he first broke in, maybe even more talented than Bobby Howe and Gordie Howe, shall we say, and Bobby Moore. He basically dominated the mid-60s. He might have won 4 scoring championships. It wasn't quite Connor McDavid. He's won 7, maybe 8 or something like that. But maybe one of the top 10 offensive players of all time, Stan Mikita. But at a certain point in time, he just decided, I'm going to stay out of the penalty box. Maybe someone talked to him and said, you can't score from a penalty box. Guess what? The other team usually has a chance of scoring. Maybe scores 20% of the time when you're in a penalty box. Why do you want to do that to your team? Why do you want to do that to yourself? You can't score from the penalty box. So all of a sudden, he ended up winning, I believe, the Most Gentlemanly Player Award. Now, he wasn't a very nice guy. He'd still be giving the lip and stuff like that, but he changed his behavior on ice. Like he was a small guy, and eventually when he lived maybe near 80, but he got Alzheimer's or something like that. That was why, because he was short, and bigger players would be hitting him right in the head, right? Eventually people were.
I don't know if you get Alzheimer's from that.
Well, dementia. Okay, I don't know if it's Alzheimer's. He got dementia. Well, you've seen the Amen thing.
Oh yeah, well, but I don't know. It's certainly not good for you getting.
Oh, it's awful.
Lumped.
He's one of the first guys to start wearing a helmet. He was short. The guys that always been cross-checking and elbowing, butt-ending him and stuff like that. So he changed, and that's when he just went off on a tear. 2 or 3 years, 3 years in a row, maybe he was the leading scorer in the NHL. So it is possible to change, and change for the better significantly. It wasn't like, it's just marginally better. It made a huge difference for him. Could have potentially made a difference for the team. They never won the Stanley Cup, aside from his first year or so, second year early on in his career. But it made his team stronger and all that sort of stuff, because they weren't always having to kill penalties. So, folks, don't make excuses for yourself. If you're a nasty person, or if you're a stupid person, or if you're a drug addict, or whatever, or if you're even a criminal, you can change. It's been done before. Do it. That's all I got to say.